right, cool. We're going to be talking about um, parabolas and their key attributes. A little bit different than we've been doing before, which was by just straight up like quadratic formula. We're going to be using more of a vertex form. We're talking about its directrix and its focus and its axis of symmetry. So it's a little more in depth. It's not too terrible. So the big difference here is when we're talking about this stuff, we can look at it as both vertical and horizontal parabolas. So we could talk about functions, which are going to be the vertical, the up and down opening. We could talk about parabolas that are not functions, which is the ones that open side to side. Okay, they are both allowed. So the equation looks a little bit hairy. If we are talking about vertex form, that's going to be a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k, which is the form that we used at the beginning of the year when we were talking about transformations. Remember that? We did transformations like quadratics and absolute values, and I think we did linear equations too. So that is kind of coming back to haunt you. We are going to throw in, instead of that a value, it's going to be 1 over 4p. And that 1 over 4p is going to help us with our focus and our directrix. So what I did, since that 1 over 4p version is not my favorite because I am personally not a big fan of fractions, I rewrote these equations as kind of like a cheat sheet kind of a deal, like this. So we can see what is going on a little more conveniently. So in my brain, the way that it works is if the x stuff is squared, it's a normal up and down opening parabola. And if it's the y stuff squared, it's a side to side opening parabola, horizontal parabola. Let's see. The p-value will determine if your parabola opens up or down or left or right. So for verticals, if your p is greater than 0, it opens up. Less than 0, opens down. That's pretty straightforward. We already knew that one. If it is a horizontal parabola, it opens to the right if p is greater than 0, and opens to the left if p is less than 0. So the important stuff is in these boxes at the bottom. And I'm not going to lie, even as a math teacher, like having taught this a lot of times, I still use this kind of a cheat sheet to help me remember, because it gets confusing as to what variables or what pieces and what goes where. So let's do the verticals first. As usual, the vertex is HK. That hasn't changed. The directrix. Now this is the weird part to me. The directrix, if you look on the graph, is this green line, okay? And its equation is y equals k minus p. Now the way that this works is you've got your directrix and you've got your focus, and your focus for a vertical is h comma k plus p. And all the points on the graph are equidistant between the directrix and the focus. Which means technically if I gave you the directrix and I gave you the focus and I gave you a ruler, you could draw the parabola. I'm not going to do that, but we technically could. Your axis of symmetry is right here on x equals h. So the same thing kind of goes for the horizontal opening ones. The directrix changes, it's h minus p. The focus changes, it's h plus p comma k. And then the axis of symmetry changes to y equals k. So like I said, even I never memorized this stuff, so I always use this cheat sheet just to help me remember. And sometimes when I'm working them, I do kind of graph out what information I have so that I can remind myself what I'm doing. Because these, to me, with dyslexia, I get all this stuff mixed up, and I struggle with this sometimes. So you've got kind of the basics of what's going on. Let's actually do some of these problems. I don't do them like most other math teachers that I know of, and I think that has to do with not just the way that I learned it, but my innate need to be organized, or else I freak out. So the way I start these, we're going to look at number 1. It says a parabola with a focus of 0, 2 and a directrix of x equals 2. And we're being asked to find the equation of the parabola in vertex form. What is the vertex? What is the directrix? What is the focus? What is the axis of symmetry? So whatever we didn't give, or we didn't get given in the problem, we got to figure all this stuff out. So the way that I do it is I start by, and this is a very physics. I learned this in physics, by the way. I start by writing down what I know. So they've given me the focus, so I know h and k. So I know that my h in this problem is going to be 0, and my k in this problem is going to be -2. I know my h and I know my k. I've also got my directrix. My directrix isn't super helping at this time because my directrix is part of another equation, so I can't use it just by itself. We're going to use it to figure out what the p-value is. All right, so what I'm now going to do in my brain is I'm going to try to figure out, is this a vertical parabola or a horizontal parabola? So since my directrix is an x equals, we're going to assume that this is a vertical parabola. So what I'm doing up here, x equals, x equals. Oh, no, this is a horizontal parabola. Look at me being dumb. This should be a horizontal parabola. So I'm going to go and I'm going to say to myself, is there anything I can do? And there is. The trick is, what we're going to do is take the x value of our focus, and I'm going to write this off to the side. X value of our focus minus the x value of our directrix. All that over 2 equals p. So I'm going to say, okay, my x value here is 0. My x value of my parabola is 0, minus the x value of my directrix, so 0 minus 2 over 2. So I get -2 divided by 2, which is -1. So my p is -1. That's really kind of all the hard work I had to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scroll back up to my cheat sheet, and I'm going to start doing stuff that I was supposed to do. So the first thing it asks for, what is the equation of the parabola in vertex form? Well, in vertex form, it should be y minus k squared equals 4p over x minus h. And I'm legitimately just going to fill in the k, the p, and the h, and my equation will be done. Okay, so I get y minus k squared equals 4 times p, so -4 times x minus h squared. Wait, did we know h? Or did I just totally mess that up? Oh no, it's h plus p is our here. So I actually messed that up. Can't do that yet. We have to figure out what h is. So we know that our x component is h plus p, right? So h plus p equals 0, and we know p is -1. So that means h has to be +1. All right, so here's my equation. What else do they want? Vertex, that's easy. The vertex is going to be 1, -2. What else did they want? They gave us the directrix. We don't got to do that. They gave us the focus. We don't got to do that. Our axis of symmetry is going to be according to this, y equals k. So symmetry is going to be y equals -2. And then there is all my info. Now, with these, what I like to do is double check my answers because I'm paranoid. Let me open a Desmos. I'll put this over here. And I'm going to graph the equation I came up with. So y plus 2 squared equals -4 times x minus 1. And I shouldn't have a second squared. All right. I'm going to blame the fact that I got a vaccine. So in theory, this should be my graph. So let's go ahead and also try to put in my directrix, which I said was x equals 2. That looks so far so good. And I'm also going to do my line of symmetry, y equals -2. So far so good. So the directrix looks good. The line of symmetry looks good. We said the focus was 0, -2. So the way you can really check this, and this is like the lazy man's way of checking it, is the vertex of the parabola in equal distance from the directrix and the focus. So it looks to me like it's about 1 from the focus and 1 from the directrix. So this is definitely the correct graph. Yep. Welcome to the party. Yes. So if ever you're in doubt, and I straight up, I'm usually in doubt when I try something new, I toss it in the calculator and I put in all the stuff I know, just so I know I haven't totally lost my mind. And even as someone who's been doing this for an unfortunate number of years, like I still check my work because I clearly make mistakes quite frequently. Perks of being a human being. All right. So I'm gonna do a couple more examples because I'm that kind of guy. So let's look at the next one. We've got a vertex of 3, 1 and a focus of 3, 5. So let's start with what we know. Let's see here. Vertex of 3, 1. So if we're given the vertex, we have to know h and k, right? Or h or k. Oh, we know h and k. So I can already write h and k down. I like that. So h equals 3 and k equals 1. I like lazy. My next step is to figure out, let's see, can we do the p? Not quite as easy. How are we going to figure out the p on this one? So let's take a look at what we know about the focus. The focus is 3, 5. And it looks to me like if I graphed this, these would be on the same x coordinate, but on different y's. So it looks to me like this is going to open up. So it's a vertical parabola. Let's look at the focus of a vertical parabola. It's h comma k plus p. So h matches, and the 5 is going to be k plus p. So 1 plus p equals 5, right? So p is got to equal 4. So here's my p value. This one was a lot less work. I kind of like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the equation. So let's see, this one should be x. So it should be x and then minus 3, inside there's lie, squared, equals, let's see, 4 times our p-value. So 4 times 4 is 16. And then y minus k, so y minus 1. So here's our equation. Done. What's the next thing it wants? The vertex. We already have that. The directrix. All right, so the directrix on this guy is going to be k minus p. So let's see, k minus p, y equals k minus p. So our directrix should be, so y equals -3. Okay, what's next on the list? The focus. We already got that, didn't we? Yeah, we already got the focus. The axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry on a vertical is x equals h. So the symmetry should be x equals 3. And let's go ahead and double check our work. Pop that in a Desimos. Give me a Desimos. All right. We are postulating as x minus 3 squared equals 16 times y minus 1. We are postulating the directrix is y equals negative 3. We are postulating that our axis of symmetry is x equals 3. And we said that our focus was, our vertex was 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, that's good. And our vertex and our focus was 3, 5. That's 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks to me like the distance between 3, 5 and then negative 3 to 1, we have a distance of 4 and a distance of 4, so that matches up. So that is the correct graph. Clear this guy out and go to the next one. There we go. All right, our next one, let's see. We've got a vertex again. I like that. So the vertex makes me know that h equals 5 and k equals negative 2. My directrix is negative 5. So what I'm going to have to do, let's see. Well, now we have the vertex. So we're looking for P, and we've got the directrix. So we're going to be trying to find the directrix is y equals k minus P. So negative 5 equals negative 2 minus P. So if I add the negative 2 to both sides, I get negative 3 equals P. And we have what we needed. Hard work's done. We're going to write that back down in our vertex form. So this looks, let's see. This is another, the directrix is y equals, that's another vertical opening. So this time we'll do x minus 5 squared equals, let's see, 4 times our P was 3, or negative 3, right? So negative 12. Oh no, hold on, I mucked that up. Something doesn't look right here. Negative 5, negative 5. Negative 3 equals negative P. So P is positive 3. And 3 times 4 is 12. There we go. And then there's the x, so this is the y. And then minus 2. Minus minus, so it's plus. So there's our equation. Next on our checklist, let's see, they wanted equation. They wanted vertex. It came with the vertex, so we don't need to do that. They want directrix. It came with the directrix, so we don't need that. They want the focus. All right. So if we go back on our list, the focus should be h, comma, k plus p. So h. And then k plus p, that's negative 2 plus 3, so 1. And this was the, scoot that over so it looks pretty. The focus. Uh-oh. Well, I'm making this thing mad. Well, lasso. Well, I guess that is what it is. Let's write focus. Like that. Okay, what was next on the list? They wanted the focus. They wanted the axis of symmetry. So this is a vertical opening. Axis of symmetry is x equals h. So symmetry is x equals h. I think that was it, wasn't it? Okay, I'm going to double check my work in old Desmos. Make sure I haven't lost it. X minus 5 squared equals 12 times y plus 2. And we said our focus was 5, 1, x equals 5. And our directrix was y equals negative 5. Okay. And our focus was 5, 1. 5, 1. That looks pretty equidistant to me. That worked out nicely. Start trusting my gut here. All right, let's do the last one. Whee! All right. This time is not as convenient because we don't get the vertex straight off the bat. That kind of sucks. We get our focus, though. And our focus tells us, let's see, is this a vertical or horizontal? So y equals, so it's another vertical. Let's see, axis of symmetry, y equals negative 1. Oh, so it's a horizontal, okay. And they give us our focus, so it's h plus p comma k. So we know our k value. And our k values, let's see here. We know our h value. H, K, and P. Just trying to keep myself lined up here. Let's see. So our directrix of y equals negative. No, that's another horizontal. All right, so our h is negative 5. Sorry, I'm looking at too many screens at once. We know our h is negative 5. We need to figure out our k. So we're going to do the trick we did before, which will be the negative 7, the y minus the y component of our directrix, negative 1 over 2. So 7 minus negative 1 will be negative 6 over 2, and negative 6 over 2 will be negative 3. So that's our p. And we got to figure out our k now. So we know that k plus p is going to be our value was negative 7. And we know that p is negative 3. So if we add our 3 over, we get that k equals negative 4. So we can put negative 4 here. And now we can do our equation again. Yay! X minus negative, so plus, x plus h minus h. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. And then y minus k will be plus 4. So here's our equation. Our vertex will be at negative 5, negative 4, hk. What else do we need to know? They gave us the directrix. They gave us the focus. Axis of symmetry, I guess. So axis of symmetry should be x equals h. So that should be x equals negative 5. Let's see if all our info matches the graph. All right, so we are postulating our equation is x plus 5, the quantity squared, equals negative 12 y plus 4. We are postulating our axis of symmetry is x equals negative 5. We are postulating, well, we know our directrix is y equals negative 1. And we were told, or we believe our vertex is at negative 5, negative 4. That matches. And our focus is negative 5, negative 7. Our Okay, so our focus is equidistant from our vertex, and from our vertex is equidistant to our directrix, so everything worked out. Yay! So I want to be clear. I know that's a lot, and there's a bunch of stuff everywhere. Okay, I've learned this before too, and it's weird when you see someone do it. It makes more sense when you do it. Um, also, I'm not gonna lie. The easiest way to do these is you've seen me do vertical and horizontal. Do what I did and change the numbers, like legit. So if you realize you've got a vertical one, here's two vertical examples, right? And you can just do the exact same thing I did. If you've got a horizontal one, you can see how I did it here. Just replace the numbers. That is the easiest way to do it. And if you get stuck on the p-value and you've got your directrix, it's the x value of the focus minus the x value of the directrix over 2, or if it's a vertical, it's the y value of the focus minus the y value of the directrix over 2. Like either, it works in either case. Those are the ways that I do it. And even when I do these, when I start getting ready to teach these, I have to go back and look at my notes and remember how I did them, because there's a lot of pieces that you have to figure out where they go. So if you feel a little overwhelmed, don't be stressed about that. That's normal. Okay. If you need to use a calculator to help you, or get some graph paper and plot the information they give you so you can figure out if it's vertical or horizontal, to help you start counting stuff out, go for it. That is totally an okay thing to do. If you want to check it on Desmos, that's also okay. And if you get stuck in anything, like, I will legit do the problem with you. If you get confused, you don't know where to start, you don't know where to go, like, I'm here to help. And I know this is kind of weird, so I got you.